lies bleeding to the damn concrete. Chasing ghosts of tides on a one-way path. The engine hums a low-frequency prayer while the skyline holds its breath in the cold. Gravity pulls at the edge of the velvet. Wait for the signal to dissolve into gray. Reflections fracture on the windshield glass, moving through the mirror of the iron grid. No destination, just the drift of the tide. The dashboard glow is the only sun I know. Hollow spaces filling up with the bass. We are the pulse beneath the pavement stone. Lost in the circulation of the midnight veins, where the silence screams in a long distance call. Trace the architecture of a restless dream, floating on the heavy weight of the dark. Deep in the marrow of the electric night, everything moves while the world stays still. Fingertips tracing the arc of the wheel, synchronized with the click of the turn signal. The air is thick with the scent of the rain and the steady thrum of a heart made of chrome. Nothing is solid in the blur of the motion, just a sequence of lights in a cooling void. To the circulation of the midnight veins, where the silence screams in a long distance call. Trace the architecture of a restless dream, floating on the heavy weight of the dark. Deep in the marrow of the electric night, everything moves while the world stays still. Horizontal line bleeds gold and violet, where the salt spray kisses the cooling sand. Shadows stretch long beneath the palm leaves as the tide pulls the day from the land. There is a stillness in the heat that lingers, a heavy sweetness hanging in the air. We watch the sky dissolve in copper liquid, with nothing left to do and nowhere to be but here. Amber light washes over the crest of the swell, drifting through the haze of a slow motion spell. The horizon is burning in a soft velvet glow. We are moving with the pulse of the undertow. Golden hours sinking deep into the shimmering and starting anew. our footsteps, warming up the marrow with the gentle ease. The scene waves wrap around us like a blanket, filtering the glare through a smoky lens. Time has lost its grip upon the clock face, waiting for the moment where the ocean ends. The stars are waking in the indigo friend. The salt is drying on our sun-soaked skin. Gravity is fading as the color blends. This is where the quiet world begins. And where light washes over the crystal of spell, drifting through the haze on a slow motion spell. The horizon is burning in a salt velvet glow. We're moving with the pulse of the undertow. Golden hours sinking deep into the blue. Everything is shimmering and starting anew. And where light washes over the crystal of swell, drifting through the haze of a slow motion spell. The horizon is burning in a soft velvet glow. We're moving with the pulse of the undertow. Golden hours sinking deep into the blue.
The golden lens is wide and clear. One and honey spills across the floor. I leave my heavy boots behind the door and chase the amber light that's drawing near. Salt is drying on the windowsill while this winter fan begins to hum. I feel the static start to come undone, moving through the air so warm and still. We are swaying in the heat of it, treading water where the sapphire glows. Everything we need is what we know, lifting higher with the beat of it. Catch the ripple in a velvet hand, walking over silver grains of sand. A gentle current pulls the afternoon, strapped in shadows out against the white. We trade the heavy words for something light and hum a hollow wooden kind of tune. No one's checking on the ticking wall. We just let the citrus bubbles rise, looking through a pair of steady eyes, waiting for the evening shade to fall. We are swaying in a heat of it, treading water where the sapphire glows. Everything they need is what they know, lifting higher with the beat of it. Catch the ripple in a velvet hand, walking over silver grains of sand. Infinity is opening its arms, falling crown of violet and the blue. A million suns are singing in the dark, leading me to somewhere bright and new. Pulse against the fabric of the night, universal currents pull me deep into the electric heart of space. Promises the constellations keep. The blackness is a heavy kind of grace, suspended in the center of the globe. There is no horizon left to find, only where the cosmic rivers flow. Liquid diamonds scattered on the floor of a cathedral made of hollow stone. I am just a traveler in flight, never felt so peaceful and alone. Infinity is opening its arms, falling through the violet and the blue. A million suns are singing in the dark, leading me to somewhere bright and new. Pulse against the fabric of the night, universal currents pull me deep into the electric heart of space. Promises the constellations keep. Infinity is opening its arms, falling through the violet and the The street lamp beam, pale yellow stain on the cracked pavement. Shadows stretched like tired limbs, reaching for the edge of town. I am tracing the jagged lines of a map that leads nowhere. My boots click a heavy pulse against the sleeping concrete. The wind carries a scent of cold rain and burnt sugar. Everything is distilled into the singular hollow hour. I saw a window flickering, the ghost of a silver screen. A silhouette was dancing with a ghost that looked like me. We traded our gold for a pocket full of rusty nails and built a cathedral out of matches and old news. The clock on the wall has forgotten how to count the seconds. It only knows the weight of the dust settling on the floor. The low frequency hums a prayer for the midnight wander. The strings are pulling tight across the chest of the dark. No one is jumping to claim the keys we threw in the river. We are drifting on a vibe, slow and lonely movements. The melody is a bruise that never quite fades to white. Just a long vibration, shaking the foundations of the night. I met a man who said he sold his son for a better view. He was shivering under a blanket made of yesterday's headlines. He asked me if the highway still tasted like dying salt. I told him the road is just a string tied to a sinking anchor. We are all just tuning our instruments to a silent frequency, waiting for a chord that can finally hold its breath. The sky is a heavy velvet curtain waiting to drop. The air is lit with the things we almost dared to say. Every heartbeat is a drum muffled by a thick wool cold. The distance is closing in until there is no space to ride. The low frequency hums a prayer for the midnight wander. The strings are pulling tight across the chest of the dark. No one is coming to claim the keys we threw in the river. We are drifting on a tide of low and lonely movements. The melody is a blues that never quite fades to white. Just a long vibration, shaking the foundations of the night. The low frequency hums a prayer for the midnight wanders. The strings are pulling tight across the chest of the dark. No one is coming to claim the keys we threw in the river. We are drifting on a tide of slow and lonely movement. Bodies blur along the wall, blue wristband, plastic cup. You say my name and it feels like someone turned the volume up, close enough to taste your drink, close enough to lose my place. Every color breathing slow, every second on your face. We're fading through the floor, down, down, a little more. What? Your heartbeat in my shirt, your laugh inside the blur. If this is all we're for, then keep me at your door. Just hug
horizontal line bleeds golden violet, where the salt spray kisses the cooling sand. Shadows stretch long beneath the palm leaves as the tide pulls the dead from the land. There is a stillness in the heat that lingers, a heavy sweetness hanging in the air. We watch the sky dissolve in copper liquid, with nothing left to do and nowhere to be but here. Amber light washes over the crest of the swell, drifting through the haze of a slow motion spell. The horizon is burning in a soft velvet glow. We are moving in the pulse of the undertow. Golden hour sinking deep into the blue. Everything is shimmering and starting anew. Amber light washes over the crest of the swell, drifting through the haze of a slow motion spell. The horizon is burning in a soft velvet glow. We are moving the pulse of the undertow. Golden hour sinking deep into the blue. Everything is shimmering and starting anew. Metal rings are like a mallet on a hollow shell. Bright metallic notes dancing on the breeze. The low vibration hums beneath our footsteps, warming up the marrow with a gentle ease. The scent waves wrap around us like a blanket, filtering the glare through a smoky lens. Time is lost its grip upon the clock face, waiting for the moment where the ocean ends. The stars are waking in the indigo fringe. The salt is drying on our sun-soaked skin. Gravity is fading as the colors blur. This is where the quiet world begins. Amber light washes over the crest of the swell, drifting through the haze of a slow motion spell. The horizon is burning in a soft velvet glow. We are moving with the pulse of the undertow. Golden hour sinking deep into the blue. Everything is shimmering and starting anew. The ice begins to melt against the crystal rim. The shadows paint the floor as daylight starts to dim. A steady pulse is moving through the velvet chair. I feel the static floating in the scented air.
The conversation fades into a mellow hum. I wait for all the midnight colors to become a deeper shade of purple on the moving glass. Watching all the heavy hours slowly pass.
Your silhouette is bending with the filtered glow. The frequency is dipping to a level low. We navigate the spaces in between the beats, above the cooling asphalt of the city streets.
The golden liquid trembles in a quiet hand, a language that the weary spirits understand. The tension in the wires has begun to break, leaving only ripples in a convoluted lake.
Swaying in the center of a hollow room, tracing every battle, every heavy gloom. The gravity is lifting from the marble floor. I don't need to look for any open door.
Floating on the water of a silver tide, with nowhere left to run and nowhere left to hide.
The feeling is a fever in a cooling soul, losing every fragment of his self-control. Speakers breathe the sequence of the digital heart, tearing every rented memory apart. I recognize the pattern in the changing light, a map to get us through the middle of the night.
No one has a reason to be moving fast when every single moment is designed to last. The architecture softens in the smoky heat, folding like a blanket on a quiet street.
Swaying in the center of a hollow view, tracing every petal of a heavy bloom. The variety is lifting from the marble floor. I don't need to look for any open door. Floating from the water of a silver tide, with nowhere less alone and nowhere left too high. The feeling is a fever in a cooling soul, losing every fragment of the self-control. Swaying in the center of a hollow room, tracing every petal of a heavy flume. The gravity is lifting from the marble floor. I will need to look for any open door. Floating on the water of a silver tide, with nowhere less alone and nowhere left too high. The feeling is a fever in a cooling soul, losing every fragment of the self-control. Suspended in the amber of a cooling pulse,
Pulses a minute, sinking my veins through the slow and The transitions flow like melting honey, leaving us soft and invisible.